What's up, guys? Welcome to a very special episode of Food Truck Diaries. I'm co-hosting Hotboxin with Mike Tyson. The guest is Francis Ngannou. So there's going to be no food because I co-hosted the show. We decided to cross-pollinate, so it will be uploaded on both channels. You can watch it on Mike Tyson's YouTube channel, and you can watch it on my channel, Below the Belt. So you can get the best of both worlds. But there's no food for this one because it's a very special occasion. I'm with Mike Tyson and Francis Ngannou. Enjoy it. So what you can do, order from your favorite takeout, Postmates, DoorDash, whatever you do, and eat the food and watch the show. That's this week's Food Truck Diaries. Enjoy.
I can make 40,000 a year stretch out.
Yeah, I bet now. But when you were fighting, you were pretty loosey-goosey with money, right?
Oh, God.
Elephant in the room, but you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
fuck. That's why I'm asking this.
that's what I'm saying, man.
The next day I see this girl, next day, hey, do you like that Mercedes? That's a really nice car. I'm so fucked up. Forgive me, God. Why did you make me like this?
What's up, guys? I'm Brendan Schaub, co-hosting Hotboxin with Mike Tyson.
And I'm Mike Tyson, and we have such an illustrious guest today, Francis Ngannou. Talk to us, champ. The new UFC Heavyweight Champion of the entire world. What's that, 7 billion people? What's the world's population? 7, 8 billion people? 7 to 8 billion people you could beat in a fair fight. The children, the babies, the girls.
Baddest man on the planet.
Yeah.
Straight up baddest man on the planet.
Wow. What a pleasure to be introduced by the big Mike himself, you know.
You surely deserve it.
You
You
see
surely
that?
deserve it, champ.
Well,
This is no time to be humble right now, champ. You be the great champion.
Thank you.
And tell us
Thank you,
about
Big Mike.
tell us about the feeling of capturing the championship.
Oh man, it's awesome. I remember being there at that moment. I can't explain how it. I mean, you might know it, but I don't know how
Did
to
you see your
explain that
hometown
feeling.
go bizarre? Did they show your hometown back home?
Yeah.
Did you see the people in the stands?
Have you seen
Yeah.
it, Mike?
Yeah.
It's great.
I have even a better video
Yeah.
because like we have people there. They were filming, and when you see that, he just go crazy.
They were
Like,
going. They lost their mind.
Nuts.
Oh yeah, because
You beat a great fighter. You didn't beat a tomato can or a bum. You beat a great fighter. You know he's great. He beat you before.
To even call him great is almost an understatement. I mean, some think, Stipe
Legendary
greatest of all
status.
time.
Yeah.
Like, there's argument for that as
Nah.
well.
Yeah. You
he's
didn't
tough
beat-
though.
You
He's
didn't
not
beat
great
no
for nothing.
bum.
He's
That
great,
guy's
man.
tough.
Yeah.
As tough as they come, because think about it, your first fight, like, most of those shots you landed would put anybody out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he stuck with it.
Even the first round for this fight,
Yes.
like he was eating them and just walk like nothing.
I knew he was in trouble when he attempted that takedown and you sprawled and brawled and then got his back and seatbelt and started punching. I went, oh, it's about to be a long night for Stipe. France learned how to wrestle.
Yeah, I was ready. I'm like, what happened in 2018 can't happen anymore. Like, I have to be ready for this, and I was ready.
That had to happen for this to happen.
Correct. Yep.
If that don't happen, you don't come here.
Because I don't think you were ready.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
Like,
Because is it fair to say, like, if you would have won that first time, I don't know, because you look at the potential matchups you have in the future, which we'll get into, but I don't think your legacy would be cemented like it's going to be now, because that first fight, you needed that loss to get to where you're at now.
Not just my legacy, like even my fight IQ, my understanding of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was just like 4 years and a half since when I get into MMA. So I had a lot of doubt, like unanswered question that I remember being there, was like asking myself a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And I get there. Just after that fight, right there, I understood that I needed this. I mean, it wasn't like the best outcome, what I was expected, but I knew that from this fight, I'm gonna go far. I kind of like circle the fight and understand like how it works now. So I'm gonna be ready for the next time. And to be honest, I think like if it wasn't about that fight, as you said, I wouldn't be here now, because even if I would have win that fight later on down the road,
Yes,
I
sir.
would have fall. because
Yes.
there was a lot of.
I'm so happy you noticed
something.
that. Most fighters don't understand that.
No,
Yeah.
I understood that like right away. Like I'm like, okay, it's sad that I lost, but at the meantime, there's a lot of good thing in this. Like I didn't have that experience. I have a lot of holes in my game that I need to fill up, and that allowed me to really understand what was that. And now I'm like, okay, from here I gained that experience. I have all the answer for the question that I had, and you know, moving on, I'm gonna know what I'm putting myself into, and that's why, like, walking into this fight, I knew like what could possibly happen, what could be the worst thing to happen. Like I was ready. Like, okay, doesn't matter what happened, I will be here. I will have the answer for that.
And you're also calm, cool, and collected. Like in previous fights, it always worked because I think your longest fight previous to this like a minute 12 or minute 11. So you're starching dudes. And I was like, man, let's see if Francis has, you know, if his IQ's gotten higher, because you did rock Stipe, and I was like, oh, here he goes, and you stayed calm, collected, and just weathered, you know, just you didn't rush in like an inexperienced guy would do.
Exactly.
And that's what's scary to me.
Exactly.
That's
and
terrifying.
And that's what I'm talking about, like gaining experience from the last fight.
Yes, sir.
Because when you look the last fight, that's exactly what I did. Like after I punch, I was just walking through him, like,
Yep.
you know, and you can't walk to a champion like that.
No way.
And I'm like, no, there's something. Then after that fight, I went back, watched his tapes. I'm like, this guy is tough. You can't just go there, expect to just walk through him.
No,
like
he's not
that,
gonna fall.
You know, and for this time, everything was just about to be calm, like collect, stay composed, take your time. Like you have 25 minutes.
Yes, sir.
You have to manage that. You know, if you go crazy, you're gonna lose your gas tank in like maybe one round.
And that's what Stipe wants.
What about the other 5 rounds?
Yeah.
If you get there. So I'm like, okay, we have to spend like equally, stay in the same gas, in the same level.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, and see how it plays out. And yeah,
And what's your wrestling coach's name?
I train at Extreme, and sometimes Eric or Dennis, who.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's Eric, because going into the fight,
Yeah.
I said, and it got to your coach because he was like, what is Schaub talking about? Because I said, you know, everyone's like, Francis so much better, Francis so much better. And all I said was, we don't know, and it's not his fault, but he's been starching everybody in those 4 previous fights. His longest fight was a minute 11. He starched everyone. So I said, the verdict's not out if his wrestling's any better. That's all I said. I think he was like, what the hell, Schaub? And then after this fight, I went, holy shit, his wrestling's way better. They were right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And walking to this fight, I know that there might be some trap for Stipe, because like if he watched my fight against Jairzinho and see the way that I rushed into that fight,
Yes.
and he was expecting me to do the same thing here. I'm like, this guy hasn't changed. He's gonna do the same thing.
Correct.
So he was there like waiting for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
But then that's what he did. That's why, right? He landed a decent shot, and then he was like, oh shit, I got him. Then he rushed in, and then that's where he clipped him with that left hook.
Yeah, because even when he landed that right hand, what went in my mind was like, damn, you're doing something wrong. Because I knew we've been working on, I knew that the Stipe step back right is his best punch.
Yep.
And that's what he caught Verdun with the first time.
Correct,
to
that's how he
become
got his
a
belt.
title.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how he get his belt. So when I get that right hand on my face, I'm like, damn, you did something wrong. Resettle, calm down, and collect. And then he was just running to me with his hand like this.
Like Rosenstruck. Like the Rosenstruck. He was doing what you did against Rosenstruck. He was like rushing in.
He was just like, then I'm like, where are you going?
Fighting is interesting.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
See, people, it's just awesome shit.
Mike, what now that he's champ, and obviously, you know, France has a squad now,
Yeah.
and he, one of the most famous guys on the planet, and you know this better than anyone. Is there things like traps you should watch out for? Like, it's just because when you're ranked number 1, it's different when you're champ.
Absolutely.
You know how
It's
Mike,
different.
there's traps.
Yeah,
man.
but this guy's different. He's just gonna stay hungry because he learned from the first fight with the champ.
Yep, Stipe.
Right, Stipe.
Absolutely.
You learn from the first fight. You are human. You can be beat. You came to that reality before. You thought you couldn't be beaten. You got beat by this guy. So that makes you even a better fighter. It should make you a better fighter. Should make you rise to the occasion because you should know there's guys out there hungry just like you now. Guys who are afraid of you when you were a contender, but now you're champion, they're not afraid of you no more. They want to
Because
eat
you
you
have the
alive.
belt.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Everybody's
what you
afraid
want.
of you when you're the contender, but when you're the champion, that switch change. They have to eat.
Because you have the belt.
Yeah.
When you're the
When you
contender,
got
have,
the bag,
you
yeah.
get nothing for them.
Yeah, but when you got the
nothing
bag,
worth the risk.
some
But
mean
when you're
people,
the champ,
that develop mean, hungry people, baby.
yeah.
And you look at who could potentially be next. Obviously, the main narrative is Jon Jones, which as a fan is the #1 blockbuster fight the UFC can make. But the only hiccup with that is Jon wants to receive compensation to fight a monster in you.
Well, he should. He should.
He should.
Agreed.
I mean, nothing wrong with that. Everybody in this position would like to have a compensation. I mean, basically, a guy like Jones, he's been around for very long and been doing this sport and this company grow. So, yeah, I think there's nothing wrong about that. But once again, I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, me
you
neither.
know. So I would like that fight to happen.
Is that the
But
#1 fight? If they gave you a list and it's Jon
that would
Jones,
definitely be the #1
Derrick
fight.
Lewis, or
Jon
really
Jones.
it's gone, right? Like
Jon
serial
Jones.
gone. It's Jon Jones.
Jon
#1.
Jones, definitely. But at this point, we don't know what's gonna happen. So
What do you think,
I'm
Mike?
just
Jon
whatever.
Jones Francis. How you see that going
I
down?
think it's gonna happen. It's ludicrous if it doesn't happen.
Right?
It's just
insane.
ludicrous. This right now, it all comes down to money right now.
Mm-hmm.
How can they do this? They both under contract. Do we do it under UFC or do we do it under this and pay? What do you do? How do you do this stuff? How do
Really,
you
just
arrange this
need to
stuff?
put up the money to please Jon Jones and to defend Jon Jones here. He is the pound for pound
Listen,
best fighter on the
this
planet.
guy-
He's
this guy-
undefeated for a
This
reason.
guy said $10 million not nothing. If he takes it, what do you say, 20, 25? That's still, for a big fight like that, he could say, hey, maybe that's nothing. But fighters have to understand, like in a corporation like Legends Only League, our fighters are like our partners. It's not like
God
we
bless
own you and you got to go by our rules. There's no rules. You
Yeah.
fight, you get paid, you get your back, and everything's over. And everybody get our money and we go to separate banks.
Yep.
No one's anybody's slave. No one owns anyone.
And Francis, how do you feel? Vegas odds came out. I'm sure you don't pay attention to this, but they have Jon as for the first time in his career as an underdog. They have you as the favorite. Which it might create. That's a little surprising. I figured it'd be like maybe even money, or maybe. But it's like I think they have you
No.
as like a
Listen, know why it's that way?
because they want money. They want
No,
betting.
because the odds they're gonna work on this. They're gonna make this a David Goliath thing, and for the first time, John, everybody's gonna look at it as a big guy picking on a little guy, and John is gonna be favorites and stuff. People, the fans, the people, the people, the thinking, the sympathetic people. He's fighting the big giant, and so we're gonna root for him and hope. American Story, we beat the odds, and he's gonna have a lot of people. He's gonna have a lot of the betting odds.
It's a different
That's
animal than
interesting.
Stipe, right, Francis? Like as far as John compared
I'm
to
talking about outside of the bet. I'm
for
talking
sure.
about the people.
Yeah, the
people.
public.
Yeah,
You're talking about the public.
public. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the public's gonna bet for.
That makes sense.
But when you look at that matchup, Francis, I'll see a different fight than Stipe, right?
Yeah, Jon Jones has definitely has more tools in his pocket than Stipe. But I'm not sure if he's tough as Stipe though.
That's a fair point. I think too, one of the reasons the odds are like that is I went back and watched Jon Jones' last few fights, his last 3 fights.
Yeah.
He gets hit. He gets
Yeah.
hit, and I don't know if he's just not
Those are
getting up.
not the fights to watch.
But those are his last 3. I can't
No.
go back
Yeah,
to
we
vintage
look
Jon
at
Jones.
we look at him, but he's always capable. In a situation like this, he's capable to rise above the occasion. This is not the last 3 guys.
That's
he
what I
fought.
think. Yeah, correct, Mike.
This
That's
is
what I
that-
think.
so that's
I think he couldn't get up for those fights because those guys aren't big names. So he's kind of fighting to their level. Still won, But with a guy like you, he knows he has to watch his P's and Q's.
He
And
has
he's
to
not
put-
because
he
you
has
take
to
one
put
shot
it-
from Francis, the fight's over. He knows that.
So he has to put more work into it
Correct.
than
And
his
he's
last
gonna, and he's
two
gonna
fights.
develop more. He's gonna gain more weight because he's gonna grab you and stretch. He's a spider. He's
He's gonna try and take him down.
Yeah,
This-
he's gonna
Francis
hold.
knows
He's
this.
gonna grab his hands. Gonna hold him. He's just an interesting guy, Jon Jones.
But he's big too.
He's creative. He's tall.
We
Have you
are
met him in
men-
person?
yeah.
He's huge.
We are the same size.
That's
And
what people
plus-
don't realize. They think
yes.
John's is small. John's huge.
No,
man.
just not small.
and agile.
Yeah.
His IQ, man. You know this,
Off
Mike.
the
His
hook.
fight IQ
Off
is
the hook.
nuts. He's not the most athletic. He's the smartest fighter. That's why John's so good.
And that's why. And I'm not saying saying it's good that boy he live his life. He can live his life the way he wants. But that's why sometimes he slacks off. He's just too good. Yeah, but I know Francis from the first Stipe fight. Never underestimate the other opponent's
Absolutely.
love for glory. Trust
Yeah.
me.
Was
No,
it almost
never underestimate.
was it almost a curse, Francis? Because you were just starching everybody. So it's like, and you don't have a ton of experience. So then you get to Stipe and you land those big shots on him, and he didn't back down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you had that before you got to Stipe, it might have been a different animal. Because your power's so insane. So it's like you touch guys, they go to sleep.
So I saw that fight, how I approached that fight. I think something was wrong. I was like on a lot of pressure and everything. You know, I have to figure out everything on my own and in a very short period of time, and never been in that level of fighting. You know, I didn't know what I was putting myself into, how this pressure was affecting me. You know, then when I get there, I don't know. I wasn't me. Like my feelings, even during the fight week, I didn't feel anything at all.
Interesting.
Like it was so weird. So
Yeah.
I look at that fight, even how I approached that fight. The guy was looking like me, but I didn't recognize the style. I'm like, what the hell is doing?
Yeah.
But actually, that was exactly what I did. You know.
Yeah.
So even before that fight, if you look at all my fight, if you watch my previous fight before the first Stipe fight, I don't rush in fight like that.
Yeah.
That was the only one.
Yeah.
Like, then that's why I was even more concerned. Like, okay,
Why am I doing
what
this?
went wrong?
Yeah.
You know, from there, and that affected me so much, and I didn't realize that until I get into the Derrick Lewis fight. Then I get there. I think I was in my mind still fighting Stipe. You know, that fight was so weird. Like, people just see how he plays out outside, but nobody knows how he plays out inside.
Yeah, how you feel,
know?
yeah.
I was even surprised after the third round that it was the end of the fight. I was lost. I was there like, okay, I have my time, you know,
Yeah.
calm down. And I think this basically about the Stipe fight. I'm like, calm down, you have all your time. And at the end of the fight, I thought I still have like a round.
Yeah.
And it was the end of 3 rounds. Man, and that's where I like, fuck, what's going on?
Yep.
Something's wrong. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna gather myself, figure out, put together my shit, and go back there. And basically at that time, man, you kind of hear any kind of shit, people doubting you, saying anything about you.
Do you
I'm
pay
like,
attention to that? Like social media, stuff like that? Media?
It's not like something that you can pay attention. You hear it, you get it. Either you
That's the
pay
most
attention
honest
of it
question
or
I've
not.
heard. That's the most honest question I've heard. I hear some, I don't listen to it, and some people say, how can you not listen? But then how can you not hear it?
How can you not hear
the
it?
interviews.
Like, it's
Somebody
all
you
over.
know heard it, and
you
they're
know,
going to tell you.
Yeah.
it's all over. You feel it. At some point, I'm like, man, I wish I wasn't here. You know, I mean, it kind of like mess with your mind. You want to be unknown by people, like,
Yeah.
where? And you see somebody, you're like, hey, Francis, can I have a picture? You're ashamed of yourself. I'm like, why did he even want a picture?
Why
Does
do
he
you want a
even want a
picture
picture with me? Like, leave me alone, you know. But, you know, you have
Yeah.
to be that. You're trying to hide.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
the guy.
You're embarrassed.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
embarrassed.
yeah.
And, yeah.
Why
But,
would you
you
be
know,
embarrassed?
because you feel bad about yourself, your performance, everything. You just feel like you're nothing after
If you
that.
won or if you lost?
No, I mean that was
saying
the
after the
feeling
Derrick
that
Lewis
I had
fight?
after the Lewis fight, you know, and that was like back to back loss, and he wasn't good. And
Did you see
basically-
that fight, Mike?
No.
So Derrick Lewis is, you know, Francis
Derrick
is a
Lewis
knockout
is.
artist. Yeah, and then Derrick Lewis, definitely a knockout artist.
artist, too.
So the public and the media,
Oh, it was a bad fight. It was a stinker.
it was a stinker.
Yeah, I remember
No
I was
disrespect,
talking
Francis. It was
about-
a stink,
Yeah,
yeah,
stinker. Yeah, I
bad
remember
fight.
that fight.
They were supposed
Yeah.
to knock each other out in the first round. They, you know, it's this long dragged out. You know, Derrick Lewis had like a back issue, so he didn't pull the trigger. Francis was in his head, so it was like this weird fight. And we were all expecting fireworks. So when that doesn't happen on that magnitude of a fight, I'm sure you got a lot of shit
So
for
let me
it.
explain that to you. Can I explain that to you? In this world we live in, we have spirits, right? And these spirits are trying to. It's one spirit that says you're great, and another one says you're not. And check, and you go through these. No, really, you go through these adversities in life, and one of them wins.
Yeah. So
Do you know what I
was
mean?
so-
One of them wins. The fucked up guy or the good guy.
But,
yeah.
but I think you were embarrassed, right? Because there was like all this
Yeah.
pressure.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I
no,
I've been
I
there
was
There's
before.
no
embarrassed.
reason to be embarrassed because
It's all internally though, Mike. You know.
No.
Yeah, it's internally.
because those
like,
people are not fighting.
No, I know.
yeah, but you can't tell them, oh, you're not fighting. You know,
No.
yeah,
you're just getting hit and you're taking
No,
it.
listen,
that's
you-
that's
you
how it
can't
works.
say, dude, you were
know,
at
You're an
Starbucks. I'm
you're an
embarrassed.
inexperienced
Yeah.
fighter. That's what happens to fighters. Great fighters, they feel humiliated. They kill themselves. They stop fighting.
And that's
They go
like
on
I feel
drugs,
really
yeah.
bad at that moment. I'm like, damn, I wish I was unknown. I wish I could hide, like race,
Yes.
just get away of this. And at some point, I'm like, fuck. Either way, what did that change? I always
Yeah.
been an underdog. I always been in this situation. Nobody like truly believe in me.
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
That's not
they,
when
they,
you
they
fail,
believed.
though.
They believed at some point, but at first they weren't even there. Nobody even believed.
Yeah.
So it's up to me now to do what I have to do. Maybe it doesn't work, but at least
Did you ever fight
I have
Derrick
to go.
again?
no.
No.
That might be the
But
next
but
fight.
Derrick's
But-
now on a win streak, and then if
So maybe you could give him a chance and revenge that and make a
Yeah, we
most
have to-
exciting
we
fight.
have to
you
do
ever
that.
had.
after
We
John,
definitely have
after
to do
John
that.
Francis, after John.
Well, I'm not. I would say so,
Every
but
fight he
I'm
had,
not making a fight.
every fight he had.
You know,
I
I
know.
wish.
Listen,
I wish
Brandon.
after John.
me too.
And
we
every
know-
fight he has that's successful and spectacular makes John even bigger, makes the whole fight game even bigger.
Agree.
And John should have another one more fight before him as well, so they could see what's going to happen. between the
Maybe
two.
you're talking, but if one guy has earned a straight title shot, the heavyweight title is Jon Jones.
Well, I'm just saying if he wants to make some extra money before he fights him.
yeah,
You know, every time before I fight a big fight, I fight two guys that make what $10 million, $20 million
For
before
sure.
I even fight a guy for the $160 million.
that's that
pay.
boxing life though.
Yeah,
like
you know.
in UFC, they
I always want to put it in the bank before I go for the big risk.
UFC don't play
Well,
like that.
that-
Like, he's
that's
gonna
a-
have
that's
to
a
fight some
boxing
killer.
match.
Yeah,
Like-
Yeah, like I want Holyfield, and I want Lennox Lewis this year. I want both of them this year. If I can get them both this year, I fuck this shit. I won't do. Else if I box the exhibition with Tyson Fury, if I do that, if I get those two guys, I say, hey, this is a wrap. I'm just gonna live life.
yes, sir.
And that's just exhibition. And I'm gonna break all my professional true records
Yeah.
with exhibitions.
Yeah. Do you feel like the baddest man on the planet? Because you when you were fighting, Mike, everyone said you're the baddest man on the planet, and then even now it carried over to 2020, 2021, where they go Tyson Fury's the champ or Anthony Joshua's champ. That's the baddest man on the planet. This is the baddest man on the planet because he can fight, just not box.
Listen,
Francis
no.
can box.
No,
He
listen,
can wrestle.
No, listen. You're the baddest man on the planet because you beat the baddest man on the planet, and that's what he beat.
Correct.
What's that black guy with the Russian name? That was a bad motherfucker. Come on, the black guy you knocked out in the first round called with the Russian name,
Rosenstruck?
Yeah, but that's
Suriname.
Oh,
From Suriname.
is he? He's not.
He's from Suriname.
His last name is Russian.
Yeah,
but-
Rosenstruck.
Rosenstruck.
Yeah.
Jorginho Rosenstruck.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, he was an awesome fighter too.
Oh, he's a bad man with him.
Listen, it was like he was squatting a fly with him. Put the fight on. Put the fight on, please. Come on, please.
I mean, we can do this. Bring up what he did to Curtis Blades.
No,
It's
no, no,
fucking
no, no, no,
insulting.
no, no, no,
the
no,
Curtis Blade
no,
one
no,
was,
no, no,
like,
no, no, no.
The Curtis Blade one was TKO.
Yeah, but still bad though, man.
No, 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 no. You didn't see this one. I can tell you.
No, I saw this one because Francis threw caution to the wind and just had no respect.
His head
man.
was too high.
Had everything.
I'm
Hands
so happy
down,
the guy
and
didn't
just
throw
beat
back.
the shit out of him.
But you know, he just took one though, God. And you were so humble. I don't understand why he was talking to me. Why would he talk to me like that?
Yo, why did he talk to me like that?
Why did he do that?
He fucked up, man.
He knows what I do. Why would he
He
talk
knows
to me
what
like
I do.
that?
I don't get it.
He's so humble. Why would he say those things?
Yeah. Yeah, the funniest thing is like he called me out and he was out there
Oh, he was
talking like
fucking
I'm gonna be
crazy.
the first one knocking Ngannou, knocking out Ngannou. Then I saw him. I kind of like see myself when I started. I'm like, well, guess what, kids? You don't know what you're putting yourself into.
That's
And he
what
was
she said.
talking.
Oh, listen,
I'm like,
this one right here. Oh, he be knocking people's
Yeah.
dick loose, man. He'll knock your dick in the dirt, this cat right here, right? But watch this shit. Somebody told
Right here.
motherfucker. Yeah, but look, he
You
could've
gave him a
got
few
you.
extra.
Oh, listen, can I tell you, if I was with my manager customer, my training customer, I was here, I knocked the guy out in 8 seconds. And know what he said? I didn't do it perfectly formed the way he taught me to do it. And he said, listen, 8 seconds. He said, listen, that guy with a little bit more experience, he would have hit you.
Yeah.
I would never say, that's crazy. But I said, really? Okay, I'll practice to keep my head down more.
Yeah.
I'm saying to myself, I'm
8
saying, 8 seconds? And I fucked up in 8 seconds? Fuck.
yeah.
But listen,
No, he was like, I'm gonna be the first
when
one
this,
knocking
when,
me out.
when
I'm gonna
this
do
fight
this.
was, when was this
And
fight? A couple of months ago? How was it? Last year?
Last year,
Yeah,
May.
last year.
May last year.
He
Jackson
just woke
did.
up this morning.
No.
No, see, he's a humble guy. He just woke up this fucking morning. And I was always, I saw him knock a couple, I saw him knock some guys. I said, this is a bad motherfucker. I would know him as the black guy with the Russian last name.
Yeah,
That's how I know
he's a
him.
badass.
But
man.
you know what's funny? Like at the weigh-in, like I faced him the first time. I'll stare at him like this. I saw a different guy. It wasn't like the guy who was talking
knew,
out there.
yeah.
You see, like he's like, "Fuck, what the hell do I put myself into?"
That energy, baby. You can't,
I'm
you
like,
can't
it's too
escape
late,
the
man.
energy.
It's too
Like,
late, dog.
It's too
I gotta
late.
get paid.
Not time to talk anymore.
Yeah.
Just time to fight. And the next day in the octagon, like I was a red corner, so he get in the octagon first. Then I got in after, and on my side was looking at him. Man, he was cool. Like I'm like, did this guy even get warm up or
yeah.
something? He was looking so bad.
You knew.
I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's on.
this is the moment.
Yeah.
Whatever you said, you're gonna pay now.
Yeah,
You
keep
have
that
to
same
do
energy.
it now.
Yeah.
I have to see that energy.
But that's probably, listen, maybe, and God willing, he was lucky that you was swinging like SWAT. 'Cause maybe you did it accurately, you might have killed him.
But I was very frustrated about that fight because
could
like
tell.
yeah, because I was expecting a fight for so long, and basically like I thought I deserved a title, you know, and
Agreed.
then you know having a fight, dealing with the fight with the UFC at that moment was so hard, so complicated. So like I get there, I felt like that fight, I took it as a slap on the face. Like
Agreed,
I'm
man.
like fuck.
Yeah, 'cause-
Okay, so like this is kind of like what I have to get. Okay, so
You felt
for me,
disrespected.
he was like, yeah, I felt disrespected.
I
know?
felt disrespect
I'm like,
for you because I felt like for a long time you weren't getting they weren't keeping you active and you're in your prime right
yeah,
now.
I know. I keep asking. We keep asking for
Yes.
fight, and they were like, oh, let's wait for if this guy fight this guy, this play out like this.
The Stipe DC thing
Oh,
kind of
like-
held up everything.
It wasn't even on the topic at the time.
Yeah.
You know, like okay, we don't even know what's going on. We don't know what's
Damn,
like.
it's cock. Look
man.
at this. Check this out.
It's hard to deal with this.
Oh, this guy's a good boxer, too.
Orlovsky's
Yeah.
a monster, yeah.
Boy, that's boom. Short,
fucking rude.
vicious, evil.
Orlovsky's a tough one too, man.
You hit him with the one on top of the ear, too. Yeah, with that left and back ear. That really hurt him.
I didn't feel like I hurt him. I'm like, why do you fall?
Why'd you fall
Why are
down?
you falling?
Those are the best punches.
Why are you
Sometimes
falling?
most of my fights when I throw a punch and the guy's out cold, I sit down, I thought I missed them.
Yeah.
You know, that
Yeah,
means pure
that's what's
clean.
happened here.
Yeah.
I did this just to like count, Then if he went down, I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what's happened, but I have to
he's
follow
down, yeah.
to secure the win.
Yeah. Herb Dean needs to get some different shoes. Get in there, Herb.
What?
Like when you're fighting Stipe and you like he's like this. It's not your job to stop. You go till the ref pulls you off.
Yeah.
Herb needs to be a little closer.
No. Hey, honestly, I watched this fight and I saw the Herb Dean action, and I think this should be the performance of the night.
Herb,
do you see how fast he's run?
I know we
like
got
he was going
though.
moving backward, and then after the action, like you see how fast
No, he's busting his ass.
trained. Like
But it's not
the
fast
guy
enough.
was on notice. He know that if his friends is touch him,
It's
don't
over.
let him touch it
Agreed,
again.
agreed.
Like, and then he just came like
Francis the
oh,
Flattener.
you know, like
Yeah. He
don't
had
kill
to,
him.
man.
Hey,
Yeah.
Francis, how are you with money? You and money get
Great
along
question,
well?
Mike.
Well, wait until I have money. For now, I'm just
You like
Brother.
giving money to women?
give money to women.
These are great questions, Mike.
Let's see if when I have money.
Oh no, hey,
I don't
listen,
have
hey,
money
hey,
yet, brother.
Listen, you have enough to throw around now.
No,
Yes.
I'm not doing. We are not doing the same. We are not doing the same thing business like you. So
Listen, hey, listen, right? Can I
Yeah,
tell
it's
you
not the
something?
paydays you got, Mike.
yeah.
Listen,
It's not the
not
same
getting
thing.
40
It's nothing.
million.
Listen.
It's nothing to do with
Listen,
you.
I could
Nothing
listen, I
comparable.
could mac with 40,000 a year. I can make 40,000 a year stretch out.
Yeah, I bet now. But when you were fighting, you were pretty loosey-goosey with money, right?
Oh God.
Elephant in the room, but you know what I'm
Oh
saying? Like,
fuck! That's why I'm asking this.
That's what I'm saying,
The
man.
next thing I see this girl, next thing, hey, do you like that Mercedes? That nice car. I'm so fucked up. Forgive me, God. Why did you make me like this? Why am I like this? But let's get back to you.
No, I think you're awesome. I think that's great.
That was good.
Now, what are
That
you
was
doing,
good.
man? How do you manage money? You have accountants. What do you do? When you want listen? If you want to go out and buy not say a car, you say buy a living room set. What do you do?
A living room set.
Yeah. Do you go yourself and pick it out, or you call somebody and say, "Can you be kind enough to help me look for a living room set?" How do
Well,
you do that?
I can call somebody to help me for design,
Mm-hmm.
but I go up and pick it myself. You know,
Yeah.
like somebody will help me for like interior to design it. What would be best with what, depending on what I like. But I will be out there myself.
I don't know. I used to do that. When I was younger.
Tell all that time about those white tigers, Mike.
Oh, forget that. When I used to be younger, I used to have survivors. I used to, what I'm doing all this fucking, I used to have fucking hundreds of thousands, I used to have all this money on me. I used to know what to do. I would give it to people. I didn't know. I'm 19. I got all this fucking money. You can't get rid of it. It's just fuck. And I'm saying, what the hell am I
But
doing?
you
I'm getting in
had a
trouble.
real money at that time.
Huh?
Yeah, it's different.
You had a real
you're
money.
talking about
That's different topic.
Like now, he's the best man on the planet, but
Yeah.
he's not getting paid like the best man.
Yeah, I dig that. Well, in situations like that, you have to make your own. Listen, a guy like him, know what a guy like this guy can do? He can make his own organization.
Are you saying start his own fight league?
Look, I'm doing it.
You're
That's
I mean,
that's
Mike
true.
Tyson.
But you know, but
He has the long. You know, he just got the belt. So he fights John. He's gonna get paid. He fights John.
Yeah,
Dude. You knock John out, we're going Sizzler.
I know,
Like
but
we're all gonna be
that's gonna be
chinchilla
good,
coats
too.
in 6 months, sitting back down here, and Francis can buy all of his chinchilla coats.
what's the promotion name?
Legends Only Leagues.
That's Mike's.
Listen, the
Yeah.
Princess is Legends Only League, right? And it's no easy fights. All the best fighting the best.
But you're Mike
That's
Tyson.
cool. Yeah.
I
You're
don't
Mike
listen.
Tyson.
I don't look at it as Mike Tyson. I look at it as me as this guy from Brownsville that lives in the Sutter, the gutter. It's a really disgusting kid. I don't look at me this big superstar. I never look at myself that way because I would fail.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. That's like me. I feel I reset my goal every time when I go back home and like to go back where I was, like trying to do even those jobs, even though I don't care about it anymore, but like trying to do it, fit it, makes me remember like where I was there, you know, like he refreshed my memory and just make me feel that. So it helped me like to know exactly where I'm going. Then when I came back in the US, I know what I'm coming here for.
Exactly.
Like, you know, he
like
used to,
I know
he used
exactly
to work in San
what I'm
Yes,
going
I
through.
interviewed him
Digging shit.
before last year. He was telling me this, but he doesn't know in a country like this you could be your own enterprise, your own business. You could sweat and bleed for yourself
That's why you got Markel,
instead of
though.
someone else. You know, you could do that here.
Yeah,
Yeah, Markel,
my team,
Yeah.
my manager, we are working on it.
If I can do this stuff, I'm not that smart. If I can do this stuff, brother, you can do it.
But Mike,
I
imagine.
told you, I'm
imagine getting
one
your
of
first
God's
title.
fools. I'm one of God's fools. If I can do it, anybody can.
But Mike, imagine getting your first title and then doing this. Like, that's where Francis is at. You know,
No,
like he has
he
so
can't.
much more work to do. He
No,
has such big
listen.
fights coming up.
Oh, absolutely, but he can't look at it that he has to believe that he's that person that he has to that you say he has to be. He has to believe he's that person this instant.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, he's the guy that those big fights coming. He's already beat those guys in his heart and his spirit. But he got to put in the work to do it,
For
though.
sure.
But you got to first have the power of belief.
When you go back home, Francis, do they realize like what type of star you are? Do they realize like kind of what your fight purse is?
They think like you have a bank, you own a bank,
Yeah.
but which is okay
for the
because
best,
like
yeah?
they feel, they realize what you're doing and make it even bigger. I'm gonna tell you something like in 2018 after I lost against Stipe, man, I went back. I felt like shit. Couldn't sleep. Even when I went to sleep, I didn't want this sun to rise the next day. I felt like I want the night just last forever, you know. I couldn't look at myself, feel very bad at that moment. I'm like, man. At some point, I'm like, man, this is how you find that people suicide. I just took my phone and then went online, booked a first plane for Cameroon. And guess what? When I went in Cameroon, the welcome that I had there, man, like, it was crazy. They were so excited, so happy, so proud.
I love that.
And at some point, I was still like feeling bad about myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, there was just like, hey, Cham, welcome. And everybody was going crazy, even grammars who doesn't know anything about fighting. And now I'm like, listen, guy, I think you might get something wrong here. I lost. I didn't win that fight. I'm like, we don't care. You won everything. Like, where are you coming from to get there? Like, we never had somebody there. We never even expect somebody from us. We get there and you make it there. You represent us. We make us prize. Obviously, it didn't go your way, but you're still young and this. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I feel good.
That was such a smart
for like, I didn't want to come back.
Yeah, you made
But
it.
I'm like,
Especially
yeah.
in their eyes, you made it.
Yeah, I stayed there for like five weeks. Then I came back here. Then, you know, I have to get back in the.
Well, some people don't have expectations.
Yeah,
We have expectations. Shit.
that was crazy.
Francis,
So
are there more
that's-
guys
that's
that
how-
look like you walking the streets of Cameroon?
Hell yeah.
Oh, a ton of them.
What are we
In
doing?
Nigeria.
What are we doing,
And-
man?
and that's
Let's
why-
start
They
a
never
management.
did
I
a
gotta-
push up in their life. Just
And I'm
born with
gonna
a
tell you,
muscle.
like,
That's what I'm talking
They
about.
never did a push up, never walked the street, never ran unless they're playing some sports normal around the neighborhood, and they look like they're brick walls.
Because
Yeah,
everyone's talking about how
never
Russians
do
are
anything.
taking over like mixed martial arts and boxing. It's like if you look at it, the Africans are. Because you look at
Because
Izzy,
they have opportunity.
Usman, you.
Yeah.
Like you guys are all the
They have
champ.
they have opportunity, and in Africa you have to see like what Africa is making with less than nothing.
Sure.
You know, like we were talking about like people walking around, not push up. I grew up without doing anything as a sport. You know, nothing. I never do anything, and I believe that even now that I'm a UFC champ, I believe that there's still a lot of people, a ton of people out there better than me. They don't just have opportunity
They just
as
haven't
I
had the
do.
yeah.
You know, so you have to look at the statistic. You know, how many African fighter in the UFC?
Not a
Like-
lot, but there's some champs.
Not a lot. For like a roster, the UFC roster has over 500 fighters. You
Probably
know,
1% African.
yeah, less than 20 African in the UFC.
sure.
In 7 division, we have 3 belts. that means a lot.
They're taking
that
over,
means
dog.
everything.
But you have to look at it like this
Start the
perspective.
bridge.
You have to deal with the adversity of life and sports because the adversity is going to make the weak weaker and the strong stronger, and it's going to separate the two. And this is what life is really based on, you know, the survival of the fittest.
But don't you think, Francis, like you know, especially now being the champ, don't you think more guys from your hometown are like, shit, look at Francis, man. I'm going to start training.
They've been like that for quite a while
Since you
ago.
got started.
Yeah, since I got started, there's a lot of people out there believing.
You don't believe that you're the best because you put in the most work and you trained and no one gave it to me, and not many people are going to work as hard as you, going to be able to accomplish what you accomplished, and they'll still be successful. You're at one of those rare breeds of dedication where people really put in the hard work.
Yeah.
And still and everybody, we can all still improve.
Yeah, I agree
But
with
you're
that.
like the prototype of that.
I agree with that, but at the meantime, I know that there's a lot of people. I know my hometown and my country, and there's a lot of people out there who probably put more work than me, and don't get the opportunity to showcase that. You know, like I don't consider. I'm dedicated to what I want. I know, like when I believe in something, I go for that. Doesn't matter what people believe or not, but there's a lot of people out there who like hard worker than me. I believe so. I don't take this like granted. I don't take this like, oh, I'm the best worker in the world. You know, I think at some point I'm also grateful for the opportunity and for the luck that I have as well, because there's a ton of people that work even harder and they can even assure to have food when they are hungry, and that's how it's just out there.
If I'm the UFC, I do a fight in Africa. You have 3 African champions, man.
They should.
Like, why not do
Here's the
Francis
moment.
versus Jon Jones in Africa?
Do they have their walking paper? Do they have their freedom papers?
That's not
Legit
hard
point.
to. That's not hard to get.
Well, in order to even think this, you need to have walking papers. You know, when you look at sports is an organization. It's a form of slavery. Or, enterprise is a form of slavery. We're all working for that cause to hit that nut, for we never have to work again. You know, the average person that
Sure.
is. That's their dream, to never work again.
Yeah.
And then when they have that dream, they're gonna be miserable not working. But it's just this dream in our head that if we're working and we're breaking our necks, that we're slaves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to a certain degree, that is true. But every athlete, especially an athlete of his degree, my degree, we should own ourselves. We should suffer, get our ass kicked, get knocked out, or knock people out on our own benefits.
Agree.
And nobody should be taking our percentage for our cuts and our bruises. They take percentages for us getting beat up.
It's crazy. And that's why Jon Jones is holding out.
Yeah, I think holding out is a bad situation. If you're not making money and you're holding out, you're self-suffering.
But not if you're set. Like, Jon is set. He doesn't need to fight.
Well, listen, say if I was a guy like that, and I'm on papers, I'm fighting in Siberia, I'm getting a check somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere, and somebody's gonna have to sue me in court. But I'm getting the check somewhere. If I'm not UFC, I'm going to WWF. I'm going to get a check somewhere. I'm not going to starve because somebody else believes he has the carrot twinkling else. He has me under contract. Yeah. I'm gonna eat.
But I don't think that fight is gonna go to the end. It's gonna go to the fight, because the process will stop. It will stop in the process.
But then,
yeah, that's why
that's
lawyers. Yeah.
Then it should be only a lawyer should meet. I think having managers are a joke. You should have either a lawyer. A manager is my opinion for a manager. Manager is what? Is glamorized cheerleader, pretty much. What do you need a manager for when you got a lawyer? Why do you have 2 of them? I have a manager and a lawyer. Why am I paying both of them to do the same job?
10%. Yeah.
No, but I think you have, as you said, from your experience, I think you went to something really different and really hard, and maybe
how much you pay your manager?
They take advantage on you, but sometimes
I'm the poster boy of taking advantage of.
Yeah, I think that's why you have your
Yeah,
perspective.
I think that's why you have
They
the
really
perspective
fucked you.
like that. You know, sometimes you work with you get somebody like working with, whether it's a manager or a coach, and then you feel like at some point you might even feel like they're underpaid. Why? Because the service, how they are involved in everything coming your way, how they're
managers are
fighting
pretty
for
much
your
the fighter's
interest.
friend, you know, now.
It
So you're
depends
paying
on
this
like,
guy to
like
be
for-
your
It
friend.
depends for the service.
It
It
depends
depends for
'cause,
what the manager is doing for you.
yeah, for like
You know,
Francis.
What is
there's
it
a lot-
that your
there's
manager
a
can
lot of-
do that your lawyer can't do better?
Get-
No,
Did you
no,
sponsors?
it's
We'll get him
two
endorsements.
different things, Mike. It's two different things. Like we are in two era very different and two different sport. You know, today we capitalize on like building our own brand, like having sponsor. You know, we need that to pay our bills as well, because we don't have as much in the fighting, like for the fight check. So we need to build around. We need to manage our life, and there is a lot of things going on that we cannot manage it ourselves. So we definitely need somebody around to help us handle that, to go out the hustle for us. And
Lawyer.
that's what the manager
Lawyer.
is it like?
And a lawyer always have a fiduciary duty. He always has to tell you the truth.
Lawyer is
The
like
manager's not gonna always tell you the truth.
lawyer take care of legal stuff.
Not all the time though.
I mean, when it's not like legal stuff.
Listen, that's all you need is legal stuff. You know, that's all you need in your life is legal stuff and your trainer.
Well, let me
I don't
ask this,
agree
Mike.
with
So,
you
like,
with
let's
that.
say, and I don't know. So, let's say, and I'm sure they want to. Let's say they want to make a movie about Francis, and let's say Paramount or Universal comes to Francis. You don't want just a lawyer dealing with it.
That's
right?
all you want is a
no,
lawyer.
no,
dealing
no,
with it,
no.
man.
Lawyer doesn't.
That's all you want is a lawyer.
He
dealing
doesn't
with
have
it.
any experience on that.
Yeah, he has
it's
no
not
idea.
his job. You have to give
Yeah,
everyone
then-
his own job.
No, what kind of lawyer you have that doesn't know about entertainment?
Are you paying this lawyer a full time? Is it working for you?
Yeah,
Or
pretty
what
much,
is that?
yeah,
Okay,
pretty
guess
much
what? We don't have as much money to pay a lawyer a full time. So we rather have a manager over a lawyer. You're talking about it's two different business, Mike.
I don't
You
know.
can't
It
just
seems-
compare those
It just
two.
seems the same. I just know oppression. Oppression
can
is
see-
oppression, and you fight it all the same way.
There's no. I don't think you can find like 5 MMA fighter in the world who can afford to have like a full-time lawyer. No, you can find that.
It'd be
Do
tough.
you? No,
Again,
you
the
can't
world,
find
the
that.
world's just well.
That's not possible.
The fighting now
It's
is
spending more money for less. Like it's more cut than what you should get
like
to
his
the
person
manager.
is like 30, 40 mil, Mike.
Because if you tell the lawyer that, okay, you're working for me full time for 10%, he can work for you. I'm like, fuck you. You know,
Yeah, I
because
think that-
your money is not that big.
I don't know. I think I'm struggling. I think I got a fucking lawyer.
I think your optics of managers and lawyers, Mike, are different
yeah.
because you're a person like you're talking about the '90s and what Francis is doing, building this empire, this brand. It's just he's almost in the fight entertainment business now. It's just a different animal.
And how
I
many
look-
zero was
when I
on
look
your,
at-
on
when
your,
I-
on your
when-
paycheck?
Listen, when I
It's-
look at
it's
him, I
different.
see a fucking superstar. And when I see
Everyone
a
does.
superstar, I see
Yeah.
a motherfucker that could pay his fucking dinner bill and help his friends out too. That's what I see.
The real question is, my paycheck goes with that. Can I afford that? I can't afford it.
How many fights do you have under contract?
Well, no much, but
More than 2? Round there, right? One.
kind of like,
Wait,
yeah.
you don't make it fight.
I'm a champion now. I have extension and everything, so it's
100%.
kind of like
6
they're
months,
gonna-
you can fight
yeah.
2 fights in 6 months. They won't let them fight that early, huh? Well, a year, you can get 2 fights in a year, right? I had 15 fights in 1 year.
as a pro.
Yeah.
He said, yeah. That means 15 dudes were getting fucked up.
But
back
I
then.
stayed active.
See, Mike, but it's not up to him, Mike, because the UFC controls his narrative. So, like, for the longest time,
In the past
he
two-
was ready to go, and they couldn't get him fights. So that's what you saw, that assault on Rosenstruck, that was his frustration,
Yeah,
because they wouldn't get him fights.
I have like 2 fights for almost 2 years. I
When
wanted
you're,
to
when
fight.
you're in contract, you
So-
can't fight nowhere else.
No.
No, it's exclusive.
And the one of the things that makes the UFC special and where they're at is their contracts are airtight, man. They have the best lawyers. So if you try going somewhere else, you're screwed.
Lawyers.
Yeah.
Not the manager. They have horrible managers,
Yes,
but they have great lawyers.
this is the problem. This is the problem,
UFC
Mike.
got sucky managers.
They-
Managers suck.
No,
Their lawyers
they can
lawyer.
afford a lawyer. You can't afford a lawyer. This is the difference. This is all the difference.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I can't remember when I didn't have a lawyer. Even when I was
Of course, you
when I
had
was my team.
you had
I
the
can't
money
remember
for that.
Not having a fucking lawyer.
Yeah,
Mike, you had 2 white tigers.
you had money for
I
that.
had
You got
lawyers
money
for them too.
That's what I'm saying.
I've been
you-
sued
you
for
can't
them
have a
too.
white-
Yeah.
You were giving Rolls Royce away.
Yes, I am. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have
We are
done that.
talking about two
But it
different
feels
stories.
good to give away.
Yeah, it does.
Like, we don't feel like we are even related to your story when it comes to money. We are not even related.
Different,
You know,
different atmosphere.
we will just carry your back, work to the
I'm not
gym
gonna
with
let
you.
you think I'm not no gutter nigga. Nah, stop, man. I don't know anybody poorer than me until I went to Mexico.
When what?
Really, nobody's poorer than me. Fuck.
When you're talking about when you're coming up.
Yeah.
In Brownsville.
Fuck no.
It
Fr-
changed.
Francis has seen that too, though. In Cameroon, it's,
changed.
you know,
I know.
there's
That
similar
changed.
stories there.
Ooh, I don't like talking about it. I'm a monster. Ooh, I'm getting irky.
You start talking about managers and Mike gets fucking PTSD.
Ooh, stop thinking about the past. That fucking shit creeped up on me. Ooh. Nigga.
Francis, don't you think the UFC is going to start kind of doubling down on Africa? Wouldn't it be, as far as a business plan, you know, they're all about money. And you look at the on-tap talent there. You look at the 3 stars between Usman, Stylebender, and you, which are the 3 faces of the UFC,
Hey, hello,
all
no.
African.
I mean,
what I
that's
see
that's
when I
what we
see
all
that?
believe. You
We're
know,
building an organization for African fighters where they have their rights and they're not slaves to the organization. You're not seeing that. That's what I see when you put it all together. Rights, African rights violation unit. I'm serious.
what do you
So
mean by that?
you think Africa should start their own league, Mike?
I think they should do it over here, but somebody should represent them. They should have a lawyer, not a manager, and they will represent them.
Of course, like when it comes to legal stuff,
Yeah, you need
he needs a lawyer.
Yeah, but-
you know,
See, a guy like me, I need a lawyer.
And your
I need a
manager
lawyer for
can
life.
find a lawyer
I need
for
a
you.
lawyer to teach me how to live my life. Don't touch that person. Don't touch this. Don't. I need a lawyer for life.
I need to know who your lawyer is, man. They sound lit as fuck.
and
I need him. You know I need him. real bad.
Well, back in the day, you probably needed one, like, right?
No, exactly. Back in the day, I was action. I'm really just thought now.
Yeah, like one of the nicest guys I know now.
And
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be that guy now.
Yeah.
Thank God. I have a commercial. You saw my commercial, Mike Lemonades?
No.
I have a fucking commercial since Pepsi. That must be like 40 years since they gave me a commercial. You know? I got a commercial. Nobody saw my commercial? Yeah. Thank you,
Your
motherfucker.
voice saw it. What was it on? I don't really watch TV.
It's on fucking.
It's all over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ca-
sorry.
I saw it on cable. You saw
Yeah,
it on
I
cable?
see it.
I think
I'm
people
sure I
watch
see it.
cable, baby. Shit.
Francis needs a commercial.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you did a UFC Toyo tire commercial, right?
yeah, I do the pedos too.
Oh, dope.
I do the Johnny Legend Mitsubishi in Las
Oh,
Vegas.
Love it.
So it's like
And where's home, Francis?
Huh?
Right now, where's home?
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Oh, that's
only.
where you need to live for the
Vegas
rest
is
of your
so-
life. But listen, Legends Only League, not only when our fighters come to us, you know, they don't even know in the fight where we will have them. We will also have inside agents where they get roles on television, commercials. These guys, we're gonna make them superstars when we introduce them to the public. Normally, the public is introduced to the fighter, but we're gonna introduce the fighter to the public.
But if they're legends, Mike, they're kind of the
we're
public's
gonna
already
get,
familiar.
No,
with
we're
them,
gonna get them, but we also gonna have fights on the card
Undercard.
too.
Oh, gotcha.
And there'll be pay-per-view fights there.
Gotcha.
Most of them will be.
Gotcha.
Everything's pretty much pay-per-view, but still we have a platform for just Saturday night fights,
Yeah, that's
weekly
great.
fights and stuff.
That sounds cool.
I talked to the guys yesterday, but this has never been done before. This is almost like Motown where we come, we bring the fighters in, we clean them the fuck up, we put them on feet, we let the whole world evaluate them, and then they're in the ring. So they already have a fan base. People are aware of them. That's almost like really old school stuff, cleaning kids up, teaching them. I'm not gonna teach nobody to eat, but you're just setting them up,
teaching them the game.
teaching them the game,
Mike-
having their own account.
Mike, what do you think about like a lot of guys we hear, especially in the UFC, go, oh, I want a shot at boxing. I want to see how I do in boxing. Usually it's a bad idea, but when Francis goes, oh, I'd like a shot in boxing, like say him versus Tyson Fury, that's when the fights where I'm like, I'm kind of down for that.
Well, that'd be pretty interesting, especially after people see him learn how to box. You know, he has to put him in there with guys who are very elusive and it's very difficult to hit. He's not going to be able to use his elbow. Well, he can use your elbow, but you can't use your knees.
His kicks are coming along, but his boxing.
Yes, but he's got to make sure, because fighters are interesting. Fighters only got to worry about punches, so they see the punch and they know where the punch is. They know you can only punch straight, round, up, or over, and they anticipate. Boxing is just so off the fucking chain, weird. You're in there fighting the guy that you can't hit, and you're really trying to hurt him, and you can't hit him.
Yeah.
Francis, is that something you're open to?
Boxing?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
He should
I
be.
mean, I have to. You know, boxing was my dream for so long, but I didn't have an opportunity until the first opportunity that I had was the UFC, and then I'm like, okay, you don't let the opportunity like that on the table.
No.
You know why you don't
make
have
money
something.
faster. You make money faster.
And
in
also
the UFC.
build a name.
Build a name.
So at some point I'm definitely gonna do boxing.
Did you hear that he's controlling boxing? You're controlling your own destiny.
Yeah.
No one owns you.
I'm gonna do that.
It depends where he's at. Like, let's say he beats John and then gets on the mic and does a hot promo to fight Tyson Fury. If he's still under contract, like Conor was when he fought Floyd, the UFC, Dana is going to get a piece of his Tyson
On the
Fury
contract or on free agent, I'm gonna do boxing.
Free agent, you can.
Both are gonna do.
I think you should do
It
that.
has to happen, because there's nothing that I can deal with now if they take boxing away out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very
I would love to
clear.
see it, man.
I want to train him. I want to put him on that
power.
bag. Put him on that bag.
You know, at some
Put
point,
it
it's
in
not
that
just
bag.
about like you have to do things like you feel it, things that you love, things that you like, and doing boxing
You love
is
it.
something that, man, I had this dream. I was like 12 years old to like become a boxer in my life, and that's the only thing that I was like excited about it. So down the road, I crossed paths with MMA, who has been great with me, but I still have to do this thing.
Check that box,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have to check that.
I would-
Go out there and like feel it for the high level.
Yeah, listen, for me as a fan, you know, I'd love to see you fight John in Africa. I'd love to see you fight Tyson Fury whenever that happens. I'd love, now that MMA's legalized in France, I'd love to see UFC in France.
Who the hell is John Africa?
No, fighting John in
John
Africa.
Jones in Africa.
Yeah, John Jones in Africa, yeah.
There's a new
I don't know John
motherfucker.
Africa, but it sounds dope.
I think they can recreate Rambo in the jungle. I mean, that's the idea. That would be something dope.
Oh,
And I
Rumble in
think-
the Jungle,
yeah,
yes.
And I'm definitely gonna be part on that one.
Yeah, you'd be the face
Yeah.
of it, my man.
Part Rambo in the jungle. You know, I wish they do it pretty soon, like maybe something with Jones or something. But man, we're gonna recreate Rambo in the jungle. That's something epic, you know. And now that African stands as a figure of combat sport as well, you know, we have
Makes
to go
sense.
back to that.
Agree.
You
Imagine
know,
how much
you have to
charity you
get
could do for
pay
Africa.
credit for that.
Imagine how much charity you could do for Africa. They won't have to come out their purse either.
He already does a lot of. He do
Oh,
a
yeah.
ton of charity for
Yeah.
Africa. Yeah. Yeah. that'd
Imagine
be
if you
huge.
fought it with Jon Jones and you could build a school or build a hospital.
We also impact the economy.
Yes.
You know, in that department, basically like fighting, like you're gonna see like more and more gym grow from. all
I would be
over,
willing to
which-
bet in the next year
Yeah.
there's a UFC gym with your face on it out in Cameroon.
Well,
Mark Elsie, yep.
it's up to the UFC.
UFC,
There's a lot of things which is just up to the UFC.
I know, man.
Yeah. So.
Hey, can you picture me saying
that, you
this?
know, I don't
hey,
have
it's
a
up
say
to
about
this
it.
guy
It is-
here, how if my life, I live or die today. Hey, it's up to this guy if I'm going to eat today. It's up to this guy if I'm going to talk to you today.
Yeah,
No, but
I hear you, Mike. It's just, that's the game.
In order to have
Huh?
a UFC gym, it's up to the UFC.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm compassionate and I'm a strong believer into humanity, and I don't see none of that here when we talk about the human beings in the UFC. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm a stupid. I never went
You're
to
not
school.
stupid. You're
I never
you're
been to
not
school,
stupid.
so I don't know anything.
But you do know the fight game, Mike. So when you talk, you know it's.
I know, no, I
powerful.
really don't know
But-
that.
but,
'cause
like,
I know the
I
human
wish-
game. I know the human game.
You know the human game. You know the fight game. But you could like, you know, you had Dana on the show. If you would ask him, I'd.
I do.
I know you had Dana on the show.
Yeah.
You could ask him. You know, so like, you know, he's the one who holds this man's
you can
future.
Ask him the
Yeah,
question.
I could talk to Dana about that, but Dana need these guys to confront him and say, Dana, I'm dying. I don't have the handouts, you know. I was that way with Don King. You know, me and Don King are friends now, but I had to learn. And now I'm doing what they're but I'm not a promoter. I would never even call myself a promoter. But I'm treating people fair.
Yeah. Well, that's all we want for Francis.
You have to fight
man.
for fairness. Fairness is not given to us.
That's true. Fairness is not given.
Well, I think that's it, fellas.
And I love everybody.
Love you guys. This is Hotboxing with Mike Tyson. That's the champ, the baddest man on the planet, Francis Ngannou. Francis,
so happy to have
the,
him.
the last time I was here, you called me uncrowned champ. You entitled me uncrowned champ.
Yeah, but now
I'm
you're
the crown champ.
But listen, now you're going to be the longest reigning crown champion in UFC.
Okay.
as long as you get a lawyer, am I
That's
right?
the next
No,
move.
listen. The lawyer's gonna help keep that in place. No, but listen, really, a guy like you, man, you're so humble and stuff.
He's the best.
And when I was champion, I dare you to even think about challenging me. You know, I've learned so much just meeting you. I've learned a lot about humbleness. It's really so awesome. I'm
Thank you,
really
brother.
so happy for your success.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys
thank you,
having me
thank
here,
you.
man. Yes.
Mike Tyson raves in full bloom, captured the art of fighting. The Hollywood Reporter says it's Malick meets Scorsese. In full bloom. Available now on Amazon Prime Video.